Some real life here. Bantamweight division, you got the golden child of Combate who's joining the UFC after a pretty solid Dana White Contender Series performance, and they give him a madman in his debut, man. Martinez. What you need to know is this dude fights angry. This dude's got a lot of tools. Some would consider him to be a 5-star prospect, a blue chip prospect in MMA, folks. You have to keep an eye out when you hear those because you don't get them often. But when you face him up with a madman who is a finisher, who doesn't care what tools he got in your bag, but he's going to make it a scrap, at least for the first round, that's where I think this fight gets interesting, man. So when I was taking a little look, I was looking at line movement on this fight right here, and Martinez, man, it just keeps moving more in his favor. Slight, but he's a heavy favorite, dude. Minus 380 right now, plus 280 comeback for Saimon Oliveira. AJ, I want you to talk to me about Oliveira right here. Talk to me about what pops off the page for a man who has 11 submission victories in his 18 wins, and 7 of them are guillotines. What pops off the page for you?
The guillotines, Derek. I mean,
yeah.
the big note I have right here is slick submissions, right? Especially when he gets his hands on you. He's hard to get away from. He's hard to be able to maneuver because this man is quick. He's slick. He's able to find the moments and just end them right there. And also, he has good pressure at range and uses it to close the distance and get his hands on you. It's exactly what you want to see with his style of fighting. He's able to put himself in the right positions to be able to get where he needs to go to finish that fight.
Yeah, man, but sometimes that style can be a little silly. When you're silly and you jump the gilly and you don't get it, man. And you jump that gilly against Martinez and you don't get it, recipe for disaster, man, because he has very good top control in grappling, very solid takedown defense. So I really feel like he won't, unless Oliveira jumps guillotines, I have a hard time seeing him getting this fight to the ground, to be frank right here. But AJ, I do have one note for Martinez. As good as he is, he had what? He's a 2-time bantamweight champ. I think he had like 4 title fights in the last 5. But I just don't see a jab from him, which I think is interesting because he's a kicker. He's got like an old school martial arts background, but he doesn't really have a jab. He kind of opens things up with a calf kick sometimes. He'll come in with some big hooks, Roy Jones style. But when you don't have a jab and you're such a blue chip prospect, man, like how far can you get without the jab? In 2025 MMA, dog, like this isn't 2006, you know?
Yeah, Derek, you can't get that far, especially once the talent competition keeps rising, because I do think we're going to be seeing a lot of Martinez here coming up throughout the years. One of the big notes I had, this is as explosive as he is, right? Very exciting fighter, bunch of KOs in Combate Global. He stays wound up to land that power. So if you're just wound up the whole time to throw big shots, you're pretty predictable in the cage, right? And once that talent competition keeps rising, people see that you need to be able to work the jab, you need to be able to slip and rip, you need to be able to do those things that present the moments for you to make those big moments. And if he's just explosive, looking for power and gonna be hunting for a KO in this one, it leaves the door open for Oliveira to find that takedown. Even if he has to jump a gilly or anything, it leaves the ability, if you're overextending on your punches, for that guy to come back and get it. So this is going to be, as much as I agree he's the favorite, it's interesting to see that lines just keep growing.
No, I mean, I think it's for good measure, man. That counter right is a bomb. He was wound up in that Contender Series fight, so I had to do some extra digging. I watched some of the older fights. He's not nearly as tense in those fights as he was, for whatever reason, in the Contender Series. You know, just like breathing hard, you know what I mean? I was like, yo, chill, bro. Because he didn't get the finish. He went to a decision with Franklin. I think probably, you know, what do they say? It's the, what's the Contender Series slogan? It's the world's most intense job interview, right? So yeah, you're probably just, you know, you're looking for the finish, doing the whole 9. But here is the comeback for Saimon Oliveira. Here's the reason why, when I looked at line movement, and you look at the line movement for Oliveira, actually, it's moved 12% in the wrong direction for him, man. So the line is growing larger for him, meaning higher plus money, plus 280 for him. I've noticed, man, when he gets faced with too much pressure and he can't get to his bag with his takedowns, like you see panic set in. Like you literally see the panic set in. And I think that's a man who's used to, hey, I know I can get in here first round, jump the gilly, get it out of there. You know what I mean? So I think David Martinez gets this fight done, gets the job done in this one. It's just a matter of how he gets it done. I think this is a pretty easy consensus pick right here for a man who probably should be around for a while. So, AJ, what do you like here? Do you think a finish is... Are you in the finish camp, or do you think that it's going to be a drawn-out fight? Because I think a finish is happening.
I think a finish is happening, Derek. I've been looking at that plus 135 for David Martinez. I think that's the way to go right here. As much as I'm worried about him hunting it too soon. I'm hoping he stays at least a little composed until he finds his big moments, and then whether it's on the ground when Simon Oliveira tries to jump a Gilly, and then you just beat him up on the ground, or you're able to actually unload that big overhand right. I think those are the ways to go. I like the KO right here. Not sure about those over and unders, man. Under minus 2.5 and minus 110 right now. I mean, it makes some sense, but they're both pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to think about like the guys who Oliveira has had to fight so far. I mean, you had Marcos who just got him out of there pretty quickly, but for Gravely, he's trying to take him down the whole fight, leads to these extended fights. Yeah, I think this is simple. Martinez knocks him out, or Oliveira submits him with the guillotine. I think it's pretty simple that way. So we're rocking with the Martinez camp. New prospect out of Mexico. Like I said, Combate's golden child is going to make a name in the UFC. Should be a fun one.